Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. CC Says. So, y'all, we are back at it. This is our second time this month, and we are restarting from about a little bit more than 6 months ago, right? So, second time in a little bit more than 6 months. And I am excited to be here with y'all tonight to talk about protecting our peace. Yeah, and why it's so important to protect your peace, and what are the things that disturb our peace, and also what do we do to make sure that we're protecting our peace. So, y'all, before we get into the conversation, as usual, if you are in the building, drop hey, hi, hello, what it do, whatever you want to say in the chat to let me know that you are here. If you are catching the replay, please drop hashtag replay in the chat. All right. So, y'all, protecting our peace. Let's talk about it for a minute. I don't know about you all, but I have not always done a good job of protecting my peace. I have not always guarded, and we're going to talk about three different ways that we protect our peace. I haven't always guarded the things that I allow in my space, the things that I allow to impact my energy. Okay. And so as I have gotten older, I've learned that protecting my peace is non negotiable. Y'all, my peace is valuable. My peace is required. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but the older I get, the more I experience, the more things I go through, the more I realize just how important peace is. I see hubby is in the building as usual. Hey, hubby. I also see I got some more folks on Facebook that's in the building. So y'all drop hey, hello, hi, what it do in the chat. So I know you're here with me. But y'all, this peace, right? This peace for us church folks, the peace that passeth all understanding, right? That peace. The peace that we have even when it doesn't seem like we're supposed to have peace, right? The peace that keeps us going from day to day, that peace. Hey, Alice, good to see you, friend. Yeah. So, like I was saying, I don't know about y'all, but I haven't always protected my peace well. Y'all, there have been people, there have been situations, there have been all sorts of things that have disturbed my peace in the past, right? And like I said, as I got older and understood how important peace was, then I figured out, oh, I got to be intentional about protecting my peace. And so that's where we are today. We're gonna be intentional about protecting our peace. So y'all know I love definitions. So I'm gonna give y'all a definition, okay? So peace is tranquility, it is completeness, and it is harmony. And so that harmony piece really struck me as I was researching. And so I wanted to make sure I understood exactly what was meant by harmony. And so when they say peace is harmony, what they were actually saying is peace is this harmony between what you value and what you're doing. Right. So the things that I value, the things that I hold dear, and the things that I give energy to, all of those things are in harmony together. And because of that, then we have peace. Right. So peace is tranquility, completeness, and harmony. If you feel like you have peace with that definition, the way that it's defined, if you feel like you got peace, drop me in the chat. Okay, drop me. If you feel like I'm working on it, not quite there, you can put I'm working on it in the chat. All right. But y'all, it's real important for us to understand that this peace that we're supposed to have, this peace that God has given us, we want to make sure that we are intentionally, right, doing what we need to do to protect that. Hey sis, good to see you. So y'all, there was a explanation about peace that I thought was so beautiful that I wanted to share with y'all. It says peace feels like an exhale after you've been holding your breath. It is grounded, unshaken, and free from the weight of fear. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Peace feels like an exhale after you have been holding your breath. So y'all just think about that for a minute. If you held your breath for whatever reason, right? You holding your breath because you about to dive into water. You holding your breath because you bracing yourself for something. That's how I see it, right? You holding your breath because you're bracing for something that's about to occur. And when you get the opportunity to exhale, breathe, let your shoulders down, let your muscles relax, right? Not be on guard in that moment, right? When you get the opportunity to do that, that's peace. When you have the opportunity to just sit and be, right? You don't have to hold nobody else up. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not. You don't have to do all of this extra. That's peace. When you can breathe, right? That's peace. And so, y'all, that's important. We supposed to be able to breathe. We supposed to be able to exhale, right? And for us believers, we do that by leaning on God, right? When we leaning on God, when we give things over to God, we can take that weight off of us, right? Our shoulders don't have to feel so heavy. We can breathe. So again, if y'all have that type of peace, y'all drop me in the chat for me. Okay. When y'all, the ones that's watching the replay, I want you to drop me in the chat too. If you got that kind of peace, if you want that kind of peace, drop I'm working on it in the chat. Okay. Now, y'all, when I was thinking about peace, I was thinking about who is a good model of someone who protects their peace to me. And so it's a few people, but one of the people who protects their peace real well is my husband. Okay. He gonna protect his peace. I see Alice says she working on it. Alice, I'm with you. I'm still working on it. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute how somebody tried to steal my peace earlier this week. I'm working on it too. Hey, Doc. Dr. G is in the building, y'all. She said me. Dr. G is absolutely someone who protects her peace at all times. If y'all want to know what peace look like, y'all look at Dr. G. Okay. Hey, Wendy. She said, hey, sis, I'm working on it. Yeah. Sis, Tasha said, took a while to get to that point, but so grateful that I'm here. Still have moments. Sis, and we always connected. And so that is absolutely my story. But y'all, hubby, let me tell y'all about hubby. So Kevin does not allow many things to disturb where he is. He does not allow many things to knock him off center. And so, if that means that he is going to ask all the questions in the world until he understands what's happening, that's what he's going to do. If it means that he is going to delay his response to something until it feels right in his spirit, until God speaks to him, that is what he's going to do. If it means that he says, hey, I can't have this conversation right now. Hey, I won't have this conversation right now. That is what he's going to do. All right. Dr. G said, come on, Dr. Kevin. Yeah, y'all, he protects his peace. And he has helped me with this because what I used to struggle with was I want everybody else to feel good. I want everybody else to be okay. So, y'all, there were times when I unknowingly really like disturbed my own peace. There were other times, y'all, when I knew that what I was doing was going to disturb my peace, and I did it anyway for somebody else or for the betterment of the group or so the project would get done, right? Whatever the situation was, I went into that eyes wide open and I made that decision, right? And y'all, if that's where you are, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that if you know that that's what you're doing. And when you know better, you do better, right? And so when we understand that, listen, our peace is too valuable and there is absolutely nobody who should be able to disturb our peace. Y'all, it's the reason why the Bible says the peace that passeth all understanding, right? For believers, we know, right? Like there's the song, I got joy, I got peace. The world didn't give it to me. The world can't take it away, right? God gives us gifts. One of those gifts is peace. And we can have peace because God has already gone before us. He's already set everything straight that needs to be straight. And so when we lean on Him, when we believe in all the things that He's told us and we walk accordingly, we can have peace, even when it looks like we should. And so there's no reason for us to knowingly disturb our peace for somebody else. Right. But y'all, that's what I used to do. That's what I used to do. And hubby helped me understand there's no reason for that. People will be okay. They will figure it out. Right. And y'all, if we be honest, some of these folks not our assignments anyway. Some of these things we picked it up. God didn't give it to us. Right. We picked it up on our own. And that's why it seems so heavy because we weren't supposed to have it anyway. Right. But some of us, I'm gonna talk about me. Sometimes I'd be like, well, Lord, I know you gifted me with a lot of things. And so I am going to fix this situation. I am going to save this person. Yeah. He never told me to do that. He didn't. He saves, right? I'm a vessel. He works through me, but he is the one that's doing the saving. And so I think a clear indication of whether or not you are picking up something or picking up someone that you really shouldn't is if your peace is disturbed. Okay. So if it seems real heavy, if it's disturbing your peace, if it's knocking you off center, if it's taking you out of character, yeah, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, right? If the energy is fighting with your energy, right? If that spirit, whatever that spirit is fighting with the spirit that you have on the inside of you, which is God, that's not for you. It's not for you. So, and it took me a minute to understand that because growing up the way I grew up, and Tasha can attest to this, growing up the way that we grew up, you saw amazing women and amazing men doing amazing things. Okay. They fixed all the problems. They did all the things. They helped all the people. And so, even if they didn't say to us, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing, that message got in there. And because of society and because of expectations and because of cognitive distortions and all sorts of things, that message got twisted. And we started picking up stuff that we shouldn't pick up. Right. We started doing things that we shouldn't do. That is the quickest way to disturb your peace. Okay. So I know some of y'all probably thought, okay, Dr. CC gonna talk about all these people and all these things that's disturbing our peace, what's going on in our country, what's going on in the world. All of those things are there and they are valid, absolutely. But y'all, the biggest disturber of our peace is us, if we're honest, right? The person, the thoughts that we have, the things that we try to do that's outside the will of God, those are really the biggest things that disturb our peace. So if we want to make sure that we are protecting our peace, we got to start with us. Yeah, absolutely. So, y'all, let's talk a little bit more about what we are protecting our peace from. Okay. When we think about how we picking up stuff, when we think about how we are going above and beyond, one definition said overgiving and overdoing, right? Doing just because we think we can, pushing our bodies, our minds, our hearts to the limit, not paying attention to warning signs. Okay. When we're doing all of those things, y'all, that those are the things we got to protect our peace from. Those are the things that we got to stop doing and reorient, right? We got to move and incline our ear to God so that we can hear what it is that He would have us to do. Because y'all, sometimes we just be out here just doing. We doing. I'm gonna talk about me, y'all. Sometimes I used to just be out here just doing. Okay, just out here in any and every situation, trying to help the people. All right, and Tasha and I talk often about how because we have like these giving hearts, it's hard to sometimes understand that we have to sit down. It's hard sometimes to say, hey, I need to put up some boundaries. Because you're like, well, Lord, if you ain't want me to do it, what you gave me this heart for? If you ain't want me to help all the people, why did you have me be in a situation where I feel so intensely for people, right? Y'all, everything God gave us is a gift, right? The hearts that we have, the skills, the talents, the gifts, all of those things are gifts from God. What we have to do is make sure that we're using it the way that He wants us to use it. And in order for us to fully be able to do that, we got to protect our peace, right? Because if not, we're going to be distracted. When my peace is not protected, when my peace is disturbed, y'all, I'm distracted. It happened just this past Monday. There was a situation where I had an appointment. The people well, they didn't cancel the appointment at first. They called to see if I could move the appointment up. I really couldn't because I had to go to work. So after they decided, okay, well, just come on when you can, then they called back and canceled the appointment. Now, y'all, for a minute, I was real hot. I was, because I felt like that was disrespectful to my time. Also, the appointment that I had was for something that I really needed. And so I was vexed, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I was vexed for a little bit, for probably about a good hour. It took me a minute to come back off of that. And hubby was like, hey, if this isn't the right time, that's okay. Like, what I had the appointment for, he said if they were gonna be rushing or if their energy was not gonna be right, then we didn't want to be there anyway. And that is true. And y'all, I was still upset. Okay. Both of those things were true. What hubby said was absolutely true. And I was still upset. Okay. But after about an hour, I was talking to God. I was doing my deep breathing. I got myself together. And then I went and did something that poured back into me. I took the rest of that time and I sat down and I said, Lord, maybe you wanted me to sit down. Maybe that's why I took half a day off from work, because I needed to sit down. And so I thanked God for the time and I kept it moving. Right. And so even now, I think a couple of people said it. They still have moments. They still working on it. They still getting there. That's where I am too. Y'all, all of this is a journey, right? We don't fully arrive until it's time for us to leave this earth. Like, so we're not arriving. We are on this journey. We are striving to do better every day. I see Sarah Pam is on. Hey, Sarah Pam. Yeah, Tasha said, truly a gift, but we have to steward it well. And that's it, sis. That's it. Y'all, we have gifts. God has given each and every one of us gifts. He has given each and every one of us talents, and we have to steward it well. And I don't know about y'all, but for me, part of stewarding the gift well is making sure that I protect my peace. Okay. So y'all, let's talk a little bit about how we protect our peace. Y'all drop in the chat some ways that you are protecting your peace. Okay. Drop in the chat what you do. Dr. G, if you still on here, I know you got 2 pages, at least 2 pages of things that you do to protect your peace. So y'all drop some stuff in the chat to tell me what y'all do to protect your peace. What I had to do on Monday after that situation, y'all, one, I had to talk to God. Right. That was number one. Number two, I had to make sure that I kind of reposition my thoughts. Right. So at first the thoughts were, I can't believe this. Y'all so disrespectful of my time. I really needed to get this done. I took off work for this. Right. Like, I was looking at all the things that I had lost, so to speak. Right. And when I thought about it and I reimagined and I paid more attention to the things that I gained, then I was able to really calm down and I was able to be peaceful. So when I thought about, okay, I got some time to do some other things, I could sit down and be still and just breathe and be. I can puzzle, which is some of the stuff that I do, right, to protect my peace. I can do some deep breathing. I can rest. I can take a walk, right? When I looked at all of the things that I could gain, the fact that now I had some time back, the fact that even though the thing that I was going for the appointment for was needed, I was okay in the moment. I didn't have to have it in the moment, right? So I was trying to rethink and start to be grateful for the things that I do have instead of concentrating on the things that I didn't have. And y'all, that's what really helped me get out of that place. So Kevin said games, hobbies, prayers, meditation, introspection, absolutely. Sarah Pam said meditate, take deep breaths to clear my mind of negative thoughts. Absolutely. Y'all, those are the things that we have to do. The Bible says think on whatever things are pure, whatever things are good, whatever things are lovely, right? Make sure that we are concentrating on those things. That's not because we're supposed to neglect or ignore the other things. It's just that we want to put more energy over here with the positive, right? We want to put more energy on being thankful. We want to put more energy on being grateful, right? We want to put more energy on the things that are set high, right? The things of God versus the things that are happening here. All right. So, and y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've had a couple of people recently that wanted to talk about everything that's going on, in our country and in the world, and they really had like a heaviness to them. And because I am intentional about protecting my peace, I said, "Hey, I want to have that conversation." And they like, "You don't want to know what's going on in the world?" Y'all, I know what's going on in the world. I'm not, in any way delusional, right? I understand that there are a lot of heavy things happening. I am choosing when I open myself up to that heaviness and when I don't. And mark my word, y'all, if you start to set boundaries with people in that way, sometimes people will be offended. Like, well, I can't believe you don't want to talk about all these things that are happening, all of the atrocities in the world. Y'all, listen, God is still God, no matter what is happening in the world. And for people like me who really feel intensely and have a lot of empathy and compassion for folks, taking on all the things that are going on in the world at the same time can not just be heavy, it can be crushing, right? It can be absolutely crushing. And so I choose intentionally to set my eyes on God versus setting my eyes on man. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't, feel for people who are going through things. It doesn't mean that I don't recognize the things that are impacting me and my family as well, and my friends and my loved ones. But in order for me to still be able to function, in order for me to still be able to thrive and not just be surviving, I have to be intentional about the things that I set my mind on. So, Sarah Pam, when you said clearing your mind of negative thoughts, that is absolutely it. And y'all, that actually goes to number one on my list. Y'all know I got three things. I'm always have at least three things for you. But number one for how we protect our peace is guarding what gets in, right? Guarding what gets in. And so Tasha will say often, we have to guard our ear gates, we have to guard our eye gates, right? And y'all, I'm going to add one to that. We have to guard the gates to our heart as well. And so, y'all, be intentional about the conversations that you're having. Be intentional about all of the news that you're letting in. Be intentional even about the movies that you watch, about the music that you listen to. And now, listen, y'all, I love me some music. I love all types of music from rap, from country, from soul, from old school, new school, but I love all types of music. And I am very well aware that certain music makes me feel different things. And so I have to be mindful of that. I have to guard. I see my brother is in the building. Hey, JJ Culpepper. Yeah. So y'all listen. Number one, guard what is getting in. And that's not just your thoughts and the music and the movies and the news. Y'all, that's also people. Ooh, I felt that one. That's also people. You have to guard who you allow around you. We have to be intentional. Did y'all know that everybody's not supposed to have a front row seat to your life? Everybody's not supposed to be in your inner circle. Mm, yeah, everybody's not supposed to have access to you. And that's okay. That's not you being, bougie or standoffish, or that's not what that is. When God has given you an assignment, when you know what your assignment is, when you know what it takes to carry out your assignment, then you are also very well aware that everybody can't go on that journey with you. Right. So sometimes protecting your peace is guarding yourself from some folks. Okay. Jay said, "Too old for new friends." Yeah, so that's a running joke with my brother. I told him once he was letting someone disrupt his peace, right? And I was saying, of course, I've known him my whole life. He's 12 years older than me, right? So I've known him my whole life. And I said, "Well, who is this person? I don't know them." And my brother said, "It's a new friend." I said, "Hey, at some point, we're too old for new friends." Now, y'all, it was a little bit of a joke. There was a little bit of truth in there too. Okay. But it was a joke at the time. But listen, what I was really saying to him was be intentional about who you let in your circle. Be intentional about who's around you. He corrected me and said he's 11 years older than me. Just until September. In September is 12 years again. Just saying. All right. So, y'all, that's number one. Guard what gets in. Number two, give everything over to God. Give everything over to God. So, y'all, I want to go back to the definition real quick. So, we said peace feels like an exhale after you've been holding your breath. It is grounded, unshaken, and free from the weight of fears. So, how do we make sure that we are grounded and unshaken? We do that when we give things over to God. Because there's no reason for me to be shaken if I know that God's got it, right? And we all of us as believers, we know God has it, right? The issue comes in when we give it to him and then we try to take it back. Ooh, y'all, I'm hitting myself tonight, by the way. So if it's not stepping on your toes, that's great. It's stepping on my toes. Okay. That has been one of my biggest struggles throughout life. I would give something to God. I understood that I was supposed to give it over, right? But y'all, I would go back and pick it up. Because either I felt like God, wasn't moving quite fast enough, or I felt like he had other stuff to do. And I really, shouldn't be bothering him with this or whatever. Or I felt like I was equipped to do it myself. Oop. I feel like I could just, God, I'm gonna handle this, you handle everything else. Yeah, so I know better now. I know better. So when we want to protect our peace, you have to give things over to God and leave them there. Right. I know there's a song that says that take it to the altar and leave it there. Yeah, we have to give it to him and leave it there because guess what? He is the person that can handle it, right? What did he tell us? He said, bring all your burdens, right? Bring them to him, right? He will bear our burdens. All those who are heavy and what is it? Burden and heavy laden, right? Bring them all to him because he is the burden bearer, right? He is the heavy load sharer. And so if we really want to protect our peace, then we're going to give stuff over. And y'all, number three, because y'all know I like alliteration. So we got guard what gets in, give things over to God, and then grow from experiences. Okay. Grow from your experiences. So y'all listen, things that used to disturb our peace, it shouldn't still be disturbing our peace. Okay. When we have gone through things, when God has brought us through things, He's brought us out of things, we shouldn't have to really have that same lesson repeated over and over again. Okay. So if you know that God dealt with your finances before, if you know he paid your bills, if you know he brought you through that illness, if you know he brought you out that bad relationship, if you know he made sure that you got that promotion on your job, if you know he dealt with them folks who meant you no good, if you know all of that, right? When those things pop up again, we should be able to learn or have learned earlier so we're not having to repeat the same lessons, right? We should be able to be that unshaken. in those situations. Because if he did it before, he'll do it again, right? Same God right now, same God back then, right? So if he has already brought you through a similar storm, then we can be peaceful, y'all. We can rest in him, right? I think about in the Bible where they talk about God or Jesus was under the boat and he was asleep. And the disciples were up there and there was a storm and they felt like they was gonna perish, right? And so what did they do? They went and woke him up. And they said, Master, care us not that we perish. And Jesus got up. He like, why y'all so afraid? Because he had been walking with them. He had been talking with them. They had seen him do miracles before. They had seen the power of God through him. So he like, why y'all so fearful? Why are y'all so fearful and unrested? Right? Why are y'all so shaken? And it was because this for them was a different situation. They're like, we don't know what you're gonna do in this situation, and you sleep. Right? We need you to get up and be awake. He didn't even have to do all that. He was God, whether he was awake or whether he was asleep. Yeah, we know that, right? And I'm pretty sure I would have freaked out in that situation the same as they did. But y'all, again, when we know better, we do better. So the fact that God has brought us through so many things, the fact that with what's going on in this world right now, God has already brought us through one of these presidencies. Y'all, we can still have peace and get through the next 4 years. We can. Y'all, think about what God has brought our ancestors through. Think about how God brought us to the place that we're in right now, right? He the same God. He has not changed, right? He is everlasting. What they say, same yesterday, today, and forevermore. He is the same. And so we can have peace when we rest in the fact that God's got it, right? When we look back and think back and remember all the things that He's brought us through. And so we can say, you know what? I'm not even going to allow my peace to be disrupted because I already know what He can do. I already know what He has done. And so I'm going to give it over to Him. I'm going to guard all of the things around me, all of the energies that's trying to, attach themselves to me. I'm going to guard myself from that, right? And I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow from my experiences. Okay. Y'all, that's all we got to do. I know it probably sound like it's simple, but that's because it is. If we give stuff over to God, y'all, if we guard what it is that we allow to impact us and affect us, if we grow on this journey, y'all, we can walk head held high with assurance. With assurance. That's what peace is to me. Peace is blessed assurance to me. All right. Jesus is mine. Right? Peace is knowing that I know that God's got it. Even when I can't see it, even when I can't track him or trace him, y'all, he's still there. And he's still God. And I told y'all 2 weeks ago when we talked about joy, a lot of times folks will say, well, he ain't speaking to me right now. He ain't, maybe there's a disconnect. Y'all, the disconnect ain't on God's end. If we're not hearing from God, that's because we aren't sitting still and listening, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are walking in blessed assurance. We are listening and being still. We are inclining our ear. We are making sure that our thoughts are turned towards Him. We're guarding what we let around us. We are giving it to Him and we are growing in our experiences. All right. So y'all, that's what I got for you tonight. We made it out here a little faster than we did 2 weeks ago. But listen, y'all, one of my favorite months of the year is coming up at the end of this week. May. May is one of my favorite months because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And y'all know how I feel about mental health awareness. Y'all, we got to know what it is that we can do to make sure that we are thriving and not just surviving. Okay. So, in Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm going to have a couple of guests. We're going to come on and talk about different mental health topics, especially in Black and Brown communities. And I'm also going to be on at least one podcast in May talking about mental health. So I will put out a flyer. Y'all make sure y'all look for it so you can join me for all the things. But I will see y'all back here, same time, same place in 2 weeks. And we are going to talk about all things mental health. All right. I see my cousin jumped on. Hey, cousin. So for anybody that jumped on a little late, y'all go back. Make sure you catch the first part of it so you get the definition of peace. And y'all make sure that y'all are out here intentionally living. Okay. Make sure that you are out here protecting your peace, y'all, and leaning into your joy. Okay. Listen, God said that He came so that we might have life and have it more abundantly. He wants us to have abundant life. Abundant life comes with peace and joy. Okay. So y'all make sure that y'all are intentionally living. Sora Pam said, love the three G's. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely. And y'all, I'm actually going to drop them in the chat so you all can get them and copy them if you need to. Write them down somewhere. Make sure you have reminders. Do whatever you need to do so that every day you are intentionally protecting your peace and leaning into your joy. All right. All right. Hey, I see Dr. Hilton on. Hey, bruh. Good to see you. So y'all have a blessed night. I will see y'all, like I said, same time, same place in 2 weeks.